Welcome back. I promised you guys more Ghostbusters coverage and I am going to deliver. Again, it's an anniversary year, 40 years of Ghostbusters. So we're going to be checking out a lot more Ghostbusters products this year, particularly with the new movie Frozen Empire coming up and with the HasLab at the end of the year. We're sure to see some really cool things this year. Well, first, the early release of the year is going to be the Mack's Factory Neutrona wand body. Now, this is the first mass-produced aluminum gun body out there. Now, a lot of people have made aluminum gun bodies, or you could see these online through Etsy sellers or through other shops. This is the first mass-produced one. This is also official. This has the Sony stamp on it. Mack, if you're not familiar with Mack's Factory, they get the scans from Sony Pictures, and they're able to produce the most accurate shells and most accurate components available because they have that license, and because they get access to those components. A lot of people make accurate copies. I don't want to say that they are the only person that does it, but they are officially licensed. So these are officially licensed products. Now, there were two versions of this wand. There was the GBFans version, which is licensed through Mack. It's still a Mack's Factory wand, so it's this one here. And then there was the one sold directly through Mack's. It was about $50 more, and here it is over here. It came already, was the process iodinized or whatever, painted, and then it had a couple of extra accessories, including stickers and screws and the washers. And I'll tell you why I went with this version over that version in just a second. Here you can see, I'm going to give you a quick 360 just so you can see it scoped out. It's got all the holes pre-drilled for your switches, for your side discs, for your knobs, for your hat lenses. I mean, it's all pre-cut in there to make it very easy, including the holes to hold in the front tube. And then you can see the mounting holes for the rear and the front cylinder as well. And then the hole for the instrument panel. So everything is there, everything is set, and then it also includes the mounting plate and the screws for the mounting plate. I just took them out here. And it even came with, I was surprised to see a screw for the top for the adjustment dial. Now, if you order that from Mack's or a lot of other people, they give you the screw with it. I think this is set up for a 440. So it came with an extra screw. That's always fun. This thing is really lightweight. I love it. It's got the hole cut out, which you wouldn't see because you're going to have the vent on the side as well. So it's going to have that extra weight cut out of it. So minimize, because when you put everything on here, it gets quite heavy. And I will have everything on here. This video is going to be cut up. It's going to be now and then about a week and a half now after I've had time to paint it and attach all the parts and put on the dry transfer labels, and then fire it up and show you guys with the pack. So I have all that stuff laid out from another wand that I disassembled, and I'm going to be reassembling this wand here. So before I get into some issues I had with it, I just want to point out why I went with this version over the other and why you might want to do that. I mean, the price difference wasn't huge. It was only $50. And what you're getting with that is, like I said, the stickers, and you're getting a couple of you're getting the washers, and you're getting some additional screws and whatnot for that version. However, the issues with that version are it's already kind of set up to only sort of be one way. And what I mean by that is if you want to customize it for, say, what I'm doing for a Spengler Hero wand from '84, it's going to be a lot harder. The thing that turned me off the most was they have two protrusions here for you to mount the grips on. Now, if you wanted to mount any other grips on there, you're going to have to cut holes into the grips and then perfectly line up with those protrusions, and then know where to drill in to get the hole for the screw in order to mount that on there as well. It's a nightmare. So basically you have to buy the Mack's grips in order to get this perfect, and they're not even available. I've never seen them before. So you're going to be out of luck for a grip to go on here unless you figure out how to drill without completely drilling through grips, which aren't too thick to begin with, in order to mount them on here. With me, I'm just going to put the grip on, line it up where I want it, just drill the two pilot holes, and then I am going to tap it, and then it'd be perfect. I have nothing to worry about. I already have my little screws countersunk into the grip, so it's going to be way easier to mount that grip on here than doing it with the Mack's version. Second, the way they have this set up, they have a couple holes cut on top, and I think that's kind of the way I've seen the Hero wand from 89 set up with that extra wire that goes on there, or maybe the Superhero wand. The 84 one, as you can see here, just had one hole in the bottom for this globe cable tie that goes in there, and that was it. So, I mean, they're going to have extra holes on there that I don't want. I just want the one hole here at the bottom, so I'm going to be able to drill that really easy like I did in my previous wand. And those are really the two main things that turn me off of the completely finished wand. I mean, I know I'm going to have to make some adjustments on it. Fortunately, everything I've seen that I've gotten so far lines up. So all the parts I got from Mack obviously line up. They should. The parts I got from GBFans line up. The cylinders work. The holes are spaced 3/4 of an inch apart, which they should be. So those work. I have the Freaky Geeky instrument panel, which I absolutely love because he makes an 84 accurate version that doesn't have that extra panel on the back. That lines up. That works on this as well. All the switches, I checked the hat lights, the screen accurate hat lights, everything goes perfect on this. So there's no issues there. I did have a couple issues where I'm going to have to make adjustments. One, the bar graph hole is about 1 centimeter or maybe 2 centimeters off. Like it just can't fit in there. The stock one you get from GBFans, which is through SpongeFace, and it's just a little off, so you're going to have to make it just a hair wider. So I would invest in a set of files, metal files. You're going to probably need those because things are going to be off just a little bit. In this case, you can see it's just not perfectly rectangular. It's just a little bit indented maybe in the middle there. So I'm just going to have to open it up a little bit and then sand it down and make it nice and flat. And it's just off by a hair, which is annoying because it's almost there, but just not quite. The length is fine, it's the width is just a little too narrow. So that's going to be one adjustment I have to make on here. Two, this is just a little tight, and you can see there was some sanding done in here in the factory, but it's a little tight for the standard tube that I have fit on various other bodies. And I could feel in there it's just a little rough on the inside, and that might be why it just wasn't sanded down enough. And I mean, with this version, it's not going to be perfect, so I kind of anticipated needing a little bit of work on this. So those two on this body are not terrible. It's easy to do that. The other thing you're going to have to do is the holes on this do not line up with the GBFans gun track. And I talked to AJ about this from GBFans, and he said these are pilot holes. So they're meant for you to, the holes line up perfectly. I'm sorry, they're just not big enough to fit the, I believe it's an 832 screw in there. So you're going to have to make them bigger. You're going to have to drill them, and then if you want, thread them for 832. Or you could just drill them and use a washer and a nut on the inside. However you want to do it, you're going to need the drill because they're set up for like a 440, which is way too small, and those gun discs will just fall right through the center of the hole on the screw. You won't be able to mount them to this. And I think they're supposed to be 832 anyway. They're supposed to be, from what I've seen in the screen accurate photos, the same size as the screws that are over here, which these two holes are, but not these three. So you're going to have to drill that too. So some assembly is required to get this the way you want it. It's got the nice stamp right here, the Columbia Pictures 2023. And it has the NW101 on there, manufactured by Mack. So that's all going to be in there as well. Although you're not going to see that once I spray paint it. I don't think it's going to, we'll see if it pokes through a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go with the spray paint on this. I'm going to go with the enamel paint from, oh man, I forget what company that is. You could pick it up at Home Depot. You could pick it up at, I think it's Rust-Oleum. You could pick it up at Home Depot. You could get it from Amazon. I prefer the Amazon version because they have the old school spray top on it, not that new crap 5-in-1 spray. If anyone's tried that, you know it clogs really easy, and you're going to have like a full can that you can't use anymore. Each one of those heads will clog really quick. It was just a very poor design by Rust-Oleum. So that classic single spray version, and make sure you wipe it off after every use, the end of the tip, because that enamel spray will clot really quick. If not, it'll be difficult to use it moving forward. But that will give you a nice even coat on here. I go with a semi-gloss. That's generally what people feel that the wand body should be, is a semi-gloss and not a flat. So Once you do that, then I'm going to pop on all the parts, and then I'll show you guys the finished version after this cut. The other thing I want to note is this has a nice flat level edge to it. I've seen a lot of ones that have a more smooth or rounded edge on this side, and based on the photos in the GB reference library for the screen accurate ones, it was more square. It was not rounded on this side. It was rounded on this side, but it was more square on this side. So this is highly accurate. So I do love that. Again, very lightweight. I love that too. I mean, there were a couple of surface distortions that I had to clean up, particularly like right here. I had like a weird etching in there, and you're going to want this smooth for when you put on your dry transfer. So when you do that, highly recommend you use a very high grit sandpaper so you don't make too many impressions on aluminum, because aluminum scratch is really easy. So I started with like a 400 and then moved up to a 500 and then an 800 to get this perfectly smooth and happy here. So just don't use anything too abrasive when you're cleaning out imperfections. You could go down, I don't know, if you need to like a 180 or something. I don't think you should need that. You shouldn't need more than a 315 or something like that to get out most of the imperfections, but it's also going to be covered up when you spray it, so don't worry too much about that. So I'm going to make all those mods. It's going to take me about a week and a half, but I will be back. I will have this fully finished and set up and ready to go, and I'll hook it up to my Max Proton pack, and then we'll kick it off and see how it works, and I'm sure it's going to look amazing. So just bear with me for the magic of editing, where I just skip a week and a half to that finished part right now. Okay, and here's our finished wand. It took me about a week. I'm going to narrate you through this. Got it balanced on a box here so it doesn't, because you know, you get that wire in the front that's going to end up hitting something, or you got the gun track I don't want getting scratched up. Again, the gun track does fit just fine. You're going to have to drill little holes through the pilot holes that are there, but all the holes match up, so you can mount your S-hook, your gun mount here, and then your little discs. No problem with that. This wand, I used a bunch of different parts from different prop makers. So the base, of course, is that Max wand that you get through GBFans, the non-painted one that you could customize. I got Max dry rubs on there. I got stickers from GBFans. I got Max dials on here. I got Freaky Geeky handle and pop Mack and a GBFans other parts. They all fit. So that's the good thing about them. All the parts are kind of universal. Everyone's using the same holes and spacing and all that. So they all fit. So you can pretty much put whatever you want into these things. And then, of course, I went with the GBFans light kit. Again, the reason I went with the base model as opposed to the finished model from Max is because of this mount. I wanted the Hero mount from the 84, and they have a hole at the bottom, and they have these two cable ties through it. Both the Venkman pack, as you can see here, and the Spangler pack both have that same mount on the 84 Hero. The Max one comes with holes pre-drilled at the top here for putting a cable tie through and then just securing it. That was on the Semi-Heroes, that was on the Superhero, that was on the some of the GB2 packs, that was not on some of the 84 Heroes though. So if you want an 84 Hero and you're a pack nerd like me, you're gonna have to do that. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these parts are available, so you could definitely fill out this wand. I would act quick though. A lot of people are selling out on them as these wands are coming, and they're gonna restock in April. So I'll just turn mine on really quick to give you a quick look at the lighting here on the wand. And one thing I like to do on the top is I get a cheap light from like Target and flashlight, and I cut the sort of reflective cone out of the top, and I really think it helps this pop more than usual, because otherwise you just get that bulb at the bottom and it's just a very dim light, and this really helps you reflect it and make it pop up. So that's the only kind of customization I do to it outside of the standard kits and everything. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. The hat lights just came into, these are the hat lights from the original mold from the movie. You can get these at GBFans now. They just restocked them. They look great, especially that orange hat light there at the front. And then, yeah, I mean, that's basically everything on the wand here. I'll take you through it in a minute once we compare it. I want to show you the Plasma Series wand, and I want to show you that Matty Collector wand. But I think it looks really great. I love that sharp edge on it here that's more square than round. I see a lot of manufacturers, or prop builders rather, doing the round. So I think it really makes a big difference to do that sharp edge, because that's closer to the screen used prop. And then of course you got your welding on there, real welding, not plastic welding. So I think it looks really great. So when it's all painted out here, it just blends in with the other parts, and I think it looks amazing. So again, really love this Mack's wand, totally worth it. Works with all these parts that you get from different prop makers out there. GBFans 100%, Mack's of course 100%. Freaky Geeky, the tubes work great, everything works great. I just had some issues with the cylinders because they're not 0.75 space, but if you ask him, he will make them 0.75 spacing on there, which will line up perfectly with the Mack's. So you just got to know what you're looking for. The other thing I really loved was the wire hole in the front. I didn't have that on my old wand. Right here, you could see how the wire is going in there and coming out just like in the movie. So you could even do that and put that little clear wrap on there if you wanted to, just like in the film as well. So that looks great. I love having that little hole there. I had to like de-pin the JST socket connector in order to get that wire through, but it was fine. I didn't have any issues with it. And I got it to slip right in there. So this is the GBFans light kit by Spongeface, and I think it works great. Absolutely great, and I'll give you a little more look at that in a minute, but just wanted to give you a quick overview of the painted, finished version of the wand. And now why don't we take a look at the other wands out there that are in sort of the premium role play category. All right, we get a little wand madness now. I'm going to start over here with the Matty Collector wand. This is also based on the 84 wand. I just want to show you the primarily how the mechanism works on here. Oh, here we go. You can see the lights on it. The orange, the hat light at the end does not light up. It has a remote control extension on the barrel here, and both forward and back. And yeah, I mean, it's you could tell it's a little fatter than the other wands, so it's not as accurate there. It still has some of the design features on it, the barrel lock here, the gun ears. You can still holster it, but you can't attach it to anything. They didn't design it to go with a pack. It does have a metal holster there, and it has some metal parts on it, but a lot of plastic parts as well. So that was kind of the standard for a while. And then they came out with the Plasma Series wand. Now they have the newer 84 wand, which is the exact same wand. It just changed the front grip and the rear grip to have those black grip handles like an 84 wand. And same sound effects. I think it has less wearing on it. It looks a little newer. Same sound effects, same everything. So unless you really want an 84 wand, I didn't think there was any reason to get this. I keep this with the pack because it's an afterlife pack. Unless you completely mod that thing like crazy to be an 84 pack, but otherwise it's an afterlife pack. And this essentially is a little different. Oh, I'm sorry, you had to turn the pack on to get the wand to work when you have them paired up. I forgot about that. All right. So with this, it has the same lights essentially as the Matty wand. The front orange hat light does not light up, but the other lights do. For some reason, it has an orange hat light here. I don't think that was intentional, but this one is, I guess, closer to the original sort of design in terms of how the barrel extension works. You just pull this back and it fires out. So that is pretty much all, but the bigger differences here. But you can see it's a lot narrower than this other wand. It's a little longer than this other wand. A little more screen accurate. It's pretty close in the length, but a little more screen accurate. I think it has the same sharp dimensions here on the edge. It's not rounded here. It's a little wider, but it's not as wide as it needs to be. Some parts are a little bigger than they should be, but otherwise it's fairly close. And they did this based on a lot of screen grabs and actually being able to see the screen use prop. So they made it pretty close. The barrel is not as thick as it should be. Yeah, I mean, there's just little differences here and there. So you couldn't really mod this to be closer to the screen version because it is missing some of those proportions in it. But it's not a bad wand otherwise. I mean, it's pretty great in terms of role playing, and for the money, I think it's right where it should be. The newer versions have the orange tip on it, so you kind of lose that. I mean, you could always color it however you want, but it's missing the frosting. So is the Matty wand. I don't know why they didn't have those on there. I think it would have been really easy even to just paint it on. but they don't have it. So, and then you have the Macks over here, and you can see very similar, again, proportions, very similar stylized aspects to it. And it's just, you know, this is using real parts as opposed to plastic. So the clipboard's a little bigger, a little sharper. It's got the proper hat lights on it, and they actually do light up. And then, of course, you have the extension on this barrel. There you go. It's a lot stronger than the other ones. That's a spring-loaded extension on that, and then you can see the frosting here on the on this one. But that is the major difference between these three sets here. It kind of evolved. Matty was still pretty good, but it kind of evolved into a more accurate version here when they got the Afterlife wand, and now the Spangler 84 wand, I think, is probably the best role-playing version of this, and then the Macks, of course, will be the best version if you're trying to build your own wand. So yeah, it just kept getting better as time went on there. So yeah, so that is our look at all the officially licensed premium wands that you could get right now, and Macks being the latest and the greatest. Yes, this is officially licensed by Sony, the first mass-produced, officially licensed prop wand. So you get this now through GBFans or through Mack's factory. Just depends on if you want that version that we're showing you, which is the basic version. It doesn't have any of the additional holes in the back or the holes in the grip. So you can make those yourself, which I think is perfect, because if you're trying to put a grip on there, you need to know where you want to mount it, right? And the Max one already has those mounts. So unless you figure out how to perfectly line it up with those pre-mounted screw holes on those raised ridges that they have the screws on, it's going to be really hard. So this way you could just make those holes wherever you want and mount it perfectly. So yeah, just something to think about if you're trying to customize it or you want a little bit of an easier build time. The only thing you're losing by not getting the Max version is, of course, it's painted. I think it's anodized already, so it's already painted. It comes with those gold washers, which you can get at Home Depot for like $1. So not a problem to get the brass washers. And it comes with the dry rubs. You can buy the dry rubs, so that's not the end of the world. They sell them at Mack's. So not a problem right now. You can get the dry rubs as well. So the only real difference is it's pre-painted and has a bunch more holes in it that might create a bunch more problems for you. But if you're building a superhero wand, or you're building a 89 wand or a semi-hero wand, not a problem. You can definitely go with it, and it saves you some steps. So that is your look at all the mass-produced, commercially, officially licensed available wands right now. Well, I told you things would look different when I finished this video from when I started it. It took me like a week and a half to get this done. Wiring a wand, if you've ever done it before, is very difficult. There's a lot of little spaces you have to reach into to sneak wires around, and it just takes a long time. And getting it painted just right is also a problem sometimes. So yeah, it took a little while. So obviously the background's changed. I changed a little bit. Not to worry. We'll get back into the swing of things. But yeah, this is probably the best wand that I've seen to date. I've seen a lot of aluminum wands. I've seen a lot of plastic wands, and this one is pretty amazing. It's got all the proportions right. It's got those little extra details on it, and I think it's just amazing. It's easy to work with. It's a ton of room inside, even though it's really difficult to wire these things. Ton of room inside still. It feels very roomy. I guess all the space that didn't need to be taken up is not taken up, so it's a really nice mold. Very happy with it. I think you'll love it. If you're a wand builder or if you're a pack builder, it's essentially going to complete your look. This is the Mack's factory shell, by the way. This is the idealized shell. I'm working on a legacy shell build right now that's not done, but I have my 84 pack built on an idealized shell. It's also, from what I understand, used in Frozen Empire, so if you wanted to do a Frozen Empire build, you could do that as well. But it looks great. It goes well with everything on it here. And yeah, like I said, the wand actually looks amazing paired with it. And I'm really happy to have it holstering up on here now as well. And you could do the whole light kit. You could get everything together at GBFans, except for the shell, obviously, you got to get from Mack's. Doesn't make a motherboard yet. Everyone keeps asking them for that. You're kind of on your own for a motherboard. I made this myself. It's just some 6061 aluminum, 1/8 inch, and I just hand cut it, just like they did in the movie. So for those props, they were all kind of hand cut, as I understand. So you can make those yourself. They're not too bad, probably about 50 bucks worth of material. And then you get those great light kits from GBFans, pair it up with the wand kit, and then you have some fun features on here. I think I hooked my crank knob up to the volume control on it, but you could do extra lighting on here. You could do the music, and I can't play it because there's copyright restrictions on YouTube. Or you could do some bonus fun features like add a smoke kit in, and you get a fun little, there you go. My smoke kit might be a little low, but you get a fun little feature like that that could also be paired up with the wand when you're doing an overheat mode like in the video game. So a lot you could do with this. I think it looks great. It works great with the other components out there, and it's great that they work with everyone's sort of different systems. Everyone has the same sort of spacing and setup on their parts, so you can use any parts you want on the wand and on the pack and to make it pair off. So that is our look at the Mack's factory wand. I wanted to have a high note since today is the release of Frozen Empire, and it's the end of our Wand Week celebration. We looked at a bunch of different wands this week. We looked at the new one from Frozen Empire and the, I want to say the role-playing line. And now we're looking at prop line and premium role-play line with the Mack's factory. So two different things there. Definitely two different qualities. This is all aluminum. This is all metal parts on here. It's going to weigh more, it's going to look amazing, and it's going to be more screen accurate. So you could definitely do those. Next week, we're going to be taking a look at some real Ghostbusters figures. We didn't cover those when they came out previously. And then after that, we're going to get back into the swing of things. We pretty much going to have all Turtles next month. We have a ton of stuff from The Last Ronin. We have a ton of stuff there's Super 7 figures that just came out. There's all sorts of Turtle stuff that has just dropped in the past month. That is starting to come out now. So we're definitely going to be taking a look at all that. Movie figures as well. And we'll mix in some other things. I got some Mega Man to show you guys from the Jada Toys line. Those look really awesome based on the arcade or based on the video games as well. So we'll take a look at those guys and we'll mix it up. We have some other surprises as well for the month, but it's mostly going to be Turtles. We'll come back for that. And then we have more exciting stuff to come after that. So that's all for this time. I hope you enjoyed Wand Week, and I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this great piece. I was really happy to work with it. I absolutely love it. I'm sure you will too if you get your hands on it. Highly recommend the one from GBFans just because it's easier to customize it and get it exactly how you want it, and it did not take that much more effort to paint this with some black enamel paint and then to just just put the components on it that I wanted. So yeah, definitely look for those. Customize it however you want. If you want a rotating barrel, make yourself a rotating barrel. If you want a nice little spring release on there, put a spring release on there. Customize it however you want. Ultimately it's your wand. Do what makes you happy. So like, subscribe, and follow, and we will see you guys next time.